So you bought some shares, you bought some call options, you did something where you are now up a lot of money right now. And you're asking the question, do I take profits or do I get greedy and do I let it run for a little bit longer? That's what we're going to break down in this video right here. And I'm going to be straight with you right now. I've been doing this stuff for about 12 years now. Knowing when to take profits is hands down one of the hardest things to figure out. But I think I got a pretty good system right here. And I'm going to teach you that in this video right here of when is the right time to take profits and move on with your life. This system right here scaled me to 1.2 million bucks, but you already know that. You watched my other videos. So the first thing that we're going to take a look at here is, let's say that we allocated to Nvidia. And let's just say that you bought some call options or you bought some shares and you are up like a crap ton of money. You just don't know what the heck to do with all this money. So you're like, hey, do I sell or do I let it ride and maybe I make more money? This is what we're going to break down. So the first thing from the top, I'm not going to hold you hostage and make you watch all the way until the end to know the magic secret formula. Here's what it is. When you're bullishly allocating, whether you're buying shares, selling put options, or buying call options in general, do you feel like you captured the majority of the move? Like, let's say that you bought a 1 year call option on Nvidia, the share price went all the way up to the moon, and you're like, hey, I want to take profits right here. Do you feel like you captured the majority of the move? You're probably like, well, I don't even know what the majority of the move actually is. We're going to go through that in this video right here, but I'll just give you the punchline to start. If you feel like you captured the majority of the move, then you should close it out. And if you don't feel like you captured the majority of the move, then you shouldn't close it out. And this also depends on what strategy you are doing. If you're buying shares, you have a little bit more flexibility to take more profits. But if you're buying options, you don't have that much flexibility because you have this thing called theta that goes against you, the time value of the contract. So you're kind of like limited by the option contract duration. So things are going to be a little bit different for that stuff. Okay, so let's head over to the chart of NVIDIA and let's figure out for these 5 strategies right here, when the heck do we take profits? It's going to be different for each strategy, but I'm going to be able to break this down in a very simple way for you to understand. And I think this is going to give you a lot of clarity of what to do right now. So the first thing that we're going to start off with, these two up here, is going to be the bearish strategies of selling calls and buying put options. When the heck do we take profits on that stuff? And then we'll go into bought shares, sold puts, and bought calls. This is the bullish stuff down here. Let's go bearish first. We'll go big bad bear mode. So let's say up here, you are the best investor of all time, and somehow you knew that NVIDIA was going to go down in share price. Chart of NVIDIA right here, like a 5 year chart-ish right here. And this is the Liberation Day tariff dump that we had last year. So let's say that you sold some calls up here, generated some cash flow, and then you took the cash flow from the sold calls, and then you bought some puts. Like, if you're super bearish, like, I'm not saying that is like a horrible thing to do, but let's break it down. Like, when the heck do we take profits if we did that? So by looking at this line right here, you know this line corresponds to the earnings per share growth of a company in the long term. This is NVIDIA's earnings per share growth right here. The stock is going to bounce above and below that line. Up here, the stock might be overvalued. Down here, the stock might be undervalued. I understand there's other things we have to look at beyond just looking at this earnings per share growth line. But let's say up here you feel like NVIDIA is overvalued, the S&P 500 is overvalued, the NASDAQ's overvalued, you feel like the labor market's weakening, you just feel like there's going to be volatility for whatever reason. So you allocated bearishly up here. Selling calls is a bearish strategy. You're capping your upside, that is a bearish strategy. Buying put options, that is also a bearish strategy because you want the share price to go down. So you did it right here, the share price went down, and you captured a move right here of 35% peak to trough on NVIDIA going down right there. So then what do? Like, you're sitting here sitting on your sold calls, and you know with sold calls, anything with sold options in general, you can't get any more profit than 100% because your max profit is a premium that you received. So if you sold the calls and collected $10,000, you can't make more than 10,000 bucks. So let's say right here, you're sitting on a profit for these sold calls of roughly, we'll just say 80%. You sold the calls for 10,000 bucks up here. Down here, they're worth $2,000. So you have an 80% unrealized capital gain. And at the same time, you realize that NVIDIA is trading now below intrinsic value. The S&P is probably below intrinsic value, and the NASDAQ is too. And maybe the economy and labor market's not as bad as we actually thought. Maybe these tariffs aren't going to be as bad as what you actually thought too. So when you factor all that in and you have an 80% unrealized gain on those sold calls and you have a max of 20% more profit to make, it does make sense to close it out down here because, again, you captured the majority of the move. So now let's look at the buying put setup right here. You bought the puts up here, you timed it perfectly. Now you're sitting down here like, hey, buying put options is a bearish strategy. I want the share price to go down. But how much more is the share price likely to go down on a good company with a moat, with pricing power, with a durable competitive advantage like NVIDIA? I don't know, like it's already pretty below the earnings per share growth line. The price earnings ratio level is cheap. The earnings per share growth is very strong and going up and to the right. And you realize that the share price is going to follow that in the long term. Hey, it might make sense to close it out down here and take profits because, hey, you did capture the majority of the move. And I understand with buying put options, your profit cannot be unlimited. So even if it's like, oh, well, I realize 120% gain, I have to take profits if I hit 120% gain or 100% gain, whatever your threshold is. That's kind of baloney. Because what if NVIDIA's earnings per share, like follow the tip of my cursor here, like what if you bought them up here and then NVIDIA's earnings per share like went down like this? Like the share price is going to follow where the earnings per share profits are going to be going. So even though you might have realized 100% gain right here, but if EPS continues to fall off a cliff, the share price is likely to keep falling. So you really have to understand like where's the company truly at in relation to its true intrinsic value, really just the true value of the company. And if you feel like you captured the majority of the move, then close it out. It's very simple. And something really quick before we move on to the bullish side is like selling calls is easier to be profitable with than buying put options because when you buy puts, you need the share price to go down and you need to go down very, very fast. And if it doesn't, you're going to lose money. And you know that you're also fighting this trend line right here of earnings per share going up and to the right. So when you're fighting that every single day that goes by, you're going to be struggling for that share price to go down, especially when it's down over in this category here, because it's already undervalued and kind of like stretched down. And when you let the share price go, it wants to fling back up and revert back to the mean line of earnings per share growth. Every single company in the long term is going to follow what the profits do. There's almost a 100% correlation. So when you're sitting on put options or bear strategies down here, you're kind of playing with borrowed time in a way because eventually the share price is going to rebound if profits are going up and to the right. Usually 99.9% of the time, that is what's going to happen. So selling calls is easier because again, you don't need the share price to go tank down to the bottom. Like look at the right hand side. I'm looking at a $145 share price up here. If you would go sell a 150 strike price cover call up here and maybe you pick up $5 a share in premium, your break even is going to be 155. So the share price could go down, stay flat, and even go up to 155 per share. And maybe that's where your break even is going to be. So you just need less to happen when you're selling options, especially selling call options, versus when you're buying puts. Buying puts, you need this thing to go down and go down very, very fast. Also, theta, so the time value of the contract, that's going to help you when you're selling options, but it's going to hurt you when you're buying options. So if NVIDIA doesn't happen to fall right away, this contract's going to get hit because as time goes by, that contract has less time to fulfill what actually might happen. You want the share price to go down, less time that you give it, less valuable the contract's going to be. But when you're selling options, you want to sell options for a lot and you want the contract to go down in value so that you could either buy it back for nothing or, just buy back for a lot less than what you sold it for. So that is my overall thesis and logic for sold calls and bought puts of when to close them out. If you feel like you capture the majority of the move, I'd take profits. And honestly, I'm going to be the first one to say it. I almost never do these two strategies right here, but I know a lot of people do. And whenever I do decide to do them, I usually get paper hands because I know that if something is overvalued, I know that the CEO and the board and the shareholders and everybody wants the share price to go up and to the right. You're betting against everybody, and I don't like to bet against the winning team. It's just easier to be on the bullish team by far. So that's why I'm usually pretty quick to take profits here, but usually I don't even play games with that stuff. I'm usually down here on the winning team, the bullish side, which is what everybody wants to be on. Okay, so now let's dive into the bullish side, buying call options, buying shares, and selling puts. When do we take profits, and what the heck happens if we close our stuff out and the share price goes to the moon? You left all this money on the table. How do we remediate that so that that is unlikely to happen? Let's take a look. Okay, so back to the chart. These are our three things right here, and I actually put these in order for a reason. Let's talk about bought shares first. Like buying shares in general is one of the easiest and safest ways to make money if you're bullish on something. There's no strike price, there's no expiration date, there's no theta. You could technically hold on to these shares forever. Sold puts. Well, think about what we need to profit with sold puts. Like let's say that we're bullish down here for sold puts somewhere in this category. The share price could go up and you make money. The share price could go sideways and you make money. And the share price could go down to the strike price and you still make the max profit. And one step further, the share price can go down to the strike price minus the per share premium received, the cash flow you get. When you factor the cash flow you get into the strike price, your break even is actually going to be even lower than the strike price because you're getting that cash flow no matter what. So when you are selling puts, you have way more flexibility with options to make money. Also, theta helps you with sold puts, which is what you usually want to have. Now, buying call options, of course, you can make a lot more money. Like selling puts, your profits are capped at 100%. You can't make more than a premium received. Just like selling calls up here too. Sold options, you cannot make more than a premium received. So your max upside is going to be less, but you're way more likely to win because you need something less crazy to happen. Share price up, flat, or down to a certain extent, you're still going to make money with sold puts. Now, buying call options, you have a few things to talk about here. Number one, if you are smoking hot bullish and you really, really, really love something, like somehow you know that this is the bottom right here, buying call options is a way to make the most amount of money for sure. But buying call options is the hardest way to make money because your timing and directionality has to be correct. Your timing has to be right because it's like, let's say you buy, typical person's going to buy a 1 month call right here. I don't recommend short duration options. I do all 1+ year options, but that's for another video. But let's say the typical person buys a 1 month call right here. What if you're a month early and this is just going sideways for a month and then bam, it moons after that? Like your timing has to be pretty accurate when you're buying call options. Also, again, why longer duration ones are better because you have more flexibility to capture the move that you want to capture. You want to capture undervalued to overvalued, buy here and sell here for the call option. So, call options also, you have theta going against you. So, it's like when you buy a call option, if the share price doesn't go up immediately, every day that goes by, that contract's going to go down in value because the theta is eating away at it every single day. Okay, so for bot shares, let's say that we feel like Nvidia down here is cheap, it's undervalued, it's compelling, we're going to go buy some shares down here. When the heck do we take profits on it? So number one, do we feel like the story is still there? Do we feel like earnings per share is going to continue and go up and to the right? How is the price earnings ratio level? How is the whole AI thesis? How is the competition doing? How is the S&P 500 valuation? How's the Nasdaq valuation? How is the labor market doing? How's the economy doing? If all of that stuff is bullish, and maybe you allocated right here, like let me do the percent line. Like let's say you're the best investor of all time, you bought shares down here on the bottom, and now it ran up 50%, and it just meets your criteria of anytime I receive a 50% profit on something, I'm going to close it out, which is very, very dangerous to think like that. Because hey, it's still undervalued right here. If you're selling, you're still technically selling a company that is undervalued, and we don't want to sell things when they're undervalued. We want to sell things when they are overvalued, when we feel like we captured the majority of the move. And also, when you have a company like Nvidia, where this earnings per share is going up and to the right at such a fast pace, like here's the actual data right here. Over here on this right-sided chart, EPS is clearly going up and to the right, and we know that the stock is going to follow that. So if you are selling here and maybe the company's at true intrinsic value, but we have EPS growth of this after it, yeah, you probably are going to sell and leave some money on the table because the share price probably is going to follow this up and to the right. So it really just matters, like, where do we think the profits are going to go and what is the overall valuation level? Right here, profits we think are going to go up and to the right. The whole thesis is good, still undervalued. I wouldn't take profits right here. I would let it ride. But let's say that you rode this all the way up to this tip right here and you're like, hey, the overall market valuation is a little bit hot. The S&P's high, the Nasdaq's high, the labor market's weakening. We got a new Federal Reserve chairman coming in. Like, I don't know what he's going to do with interest rates. Fundamentally, Nvidia is a little bit expensive. I'm just generally nervous overall because what if China invades Taiwan? Hey, the stock is a little bit overvalued. And if we throw a percent line on that, just how overvalued is this technically from the earnings per share growth line? You could see roughly 13%. Like, this isn't like 100% perfect science, but it's pretty freaking accurate. The stock is above the EPS growth line. The stock went up faster than earnings per share is growing, so the stock is like kind of up here relative to earnings. It does make sense to maybe trim right there. But let's say that, you don't want to be so micromanaging and you don't want to have to worry about, oh my God, the second it gets overvalued, you want to sell. Like, you could still hold Nvidia shares right there because you have this tailwind of EPS growth in the background. Like, if you just look at this time frame right here, look at the bottom, October 27th of 2025 until we'll just say right now, like up here on the top right, and we'll say it's March 9th of 2026. Technically it's only a few months until the stock is going to be at intrinsic value if EPS continues to grow. Like, if we just share price to here, that's where EPS is at. You're only like 3 months overvalued type deal if you want to think about it like that. It's not like a bubble up here. But what if Nvidia was like 50% above intrinsic value? Like, yes, you definitely probably want to close that out because you always want to deploy your money in the most capital efficient way to get the best risk adjusted return. If you're holding on to something expensive up here, but you have some other opportunity where it looks like this, where it's super undervalued, you should sell up here when things are overvalued, take that capital and go deploy it down here on something else when it's undervalued. It's like a double arbitrage of valuations. Like sell it when it's expensive, buy it when it's cheap, and you like double capitalize on that. You just keep rinsing and repeating this process. Like it's kind of like the name of the game with investing right there. So that is my little spiel on bought shares and when to close them out. Okay, so let's go into sold puts now. And let's say that again, you're the best investor of all time. You sold, I don't know, we'll just say 6-month puts, and the share price went up 50% in that time frame. You crushed it. Your sold puts, maybe you collected $5,000 in premium down here. Now, when the shares went up 51%, and these, you sold them for $5,000, you're probably going to be sitting on like, I don't know, a 95% unrealized capital gain. So you could basically buy these back for next to nothing. Is it worth it to buy these back for next to nothing, even though it's still below intrinsic value? In my opinion, yes, because if you realize 95% of the juice of the trade, is it really worth it to continue to hold the trade for just an extra 5% profit? No, not in my opinion, because as you guys know, I'm huge on keeping ratios in check and never being in a situation where you're over leveraged or anything like that. You don't ever sell too many puts. I do portfolio secured puts, longer duration, all that stuff, but these examples still apply to really anything. Like, we capture the majority of the move. Yes, it's 95% profit. I would sell it because I could close that out and take that buying power and go do something else that's more compelling where I can make more money. But maybe if you're sitting right here and the share price only went up, we'll just say 14%, and maybe your contract is only up 50% in value for the sold put, and you realize you're still this much below intrinsic value, is it worth it to close it out at a 50% profit, even though you're still this deep below earnings per share growth line, so it's undervalued potentially? In my opinion, no. So it's kind of like once you get into the 70-ish% range for sold puts, that is where I do consider to take profits on stuff like that. But it really just depends on a case-by-case situation of the overall macro thesis, overall valuations, overall, do I need this buying power for something else? And do I even have another trade set up ready to go that I could use this buying power for? Those are the things that I factor in with this stuff here. But now for bought calls, like when do we take profits on bought calls? And we know that bought calls, your profit is potentially going to be unlimited because the share price can go up to infinity. So this is the one strategy where you could technically make unlimited money. And I know a bunch of retail investors, they say, oh, well, I timed the bottom perfectly. I'm the best investor of all time. Share price ran up 51%. My calls are up 100%. Anytime I double my money on a call option, I take profits. I'm not saying that is like a horrible strategy, but take a look at this right here. Like EPS in this time frame clearly went up and to the right, but just follow the tip of my cursor. Like the tip of my cursor, let's say it corresponds to the actual share price going up and to the right. If the share price is going up at this pace right here, but EPS is going up this much right here, EPS is growing faster than the share price is going up. So technically, even after the share price went up, just say 50%, the company's technically cheaper after the big move than before. Like, let me show you this on a chart to make it make more sense. So this line right here is obviously earnings per share growth. And then I'm going to draw another arbitrary line right here. And we're going to say that this bottom line here corresponds to the share price. Like, hey, the share price from here to here, it went up a lot, but earnings per share went up more. So even though the share price might have doubled from here to here, earnings per share might have went up by more than a double right here to here. So technically speaking, if you are choosing to sell simply because you made X% profit, it might not be the best thing to do, because what if the profits went up 300%, but the share price went up 50% or something like that? Technically, you're selling when it's even more undervalued, because you could see the spread, like the distance between the earnings per share line and our theoretical share price, it's wider right here versus right here. So this is like the distance of undervaluation here, and the distance of undervaluation is right here. So for bought calls, it's very simple. It has nothing to do with percent profit and everything to do with the fundamental value of the company relative to earnings, price earnings ratio levels, the macro thesis, the micro thesis, the AI thesis, everything kind of like I throw a bunch of marbles into a jar and I kind of shake it all up. And the totality of that data right there tells me what to do. And and these are all things that I break down in Discord in real time and on my stock sheet, like valuations, growth, mode, execution risk, economy, economic scorecard, bull bear scale, IV sheet for valuations and stuff like that. This is just a part of the things I do in Discord where I just summarize all the data that I break down, because there's a lot out there. So I hope you got value from this video right here. If you didn't watch the one before it, it's going to help you out a lot talking about when the heck do you cut your losses, or when do you double down on a trade? And then the one coming after this one is going to talk about risk management with stock options. It's going to help you out a lot so you could survive a 50% crash and capitalize, because it is eventually going to happen. See you guys there.